What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another banger video. This time we're looking at Chapter 3 of Superman for All Seasons, the fall issue. Now, if you remember last time, at the end of Part 2, Lex Luthor was going to visit Jenny Vaughn. She was the woman who survived the fire at Kimco Labs, the one that Superman saved, and now she has like a shrine in her apartment to Superman. She's a Superman stan now, and Lex Luthor has plans for her. So, beginning Chapter 3, we get these really cool paintings. This was the cover. So Lex Luthor is being released from jail for an unknown crime. It never specifies what his crime was. We know he was heavily implied to have started the fire at Kimco Labs in the last issue, but he was never, there was never any evidence of it, so he didn't actually do any jail time for that. But this issue is narrated by Lex. You know, each issue is narrated by a different character from the story. And he's talking about Metropolis as his city. You know, he owns the city, like it's his property, and how Superman is coming in and stealing it away from him. You know, the headline in the newspaper is Luthor arrested by Lois Lane. So the woman he was dating in issue 1, now she's writing stories about how he's being arrested. So things are just going downhill for Lex. He gets picked up in his private helicopter, and Superman escorts him back to Luthor Tower. Which is just a way of Superman like letting Lex know that he's keeping an eye on him. So when he gets back home, you know, he has all of his assistants telling him that the press has been calling, the banks have been calling, the mayor's calling, but he's ignoring everyone. And he just wants to relax after a night in jail. And he's talking about how self-pity is for lesser men. And instead, he's going to form a plan. And he spends all night working out a plan. How he's going to take down Superman. Again, this book is just, half of it is probably these double-page spreads. Here, he kind of tells Superman, you know, enjoy this fame while you can. Fame is fleeting. Lex Luthor is forever. And he calls him, he's like, you're just a mascot. They'll get bored of you. And here we see the phase 1 of Lex Luthor's plan. This is probably the scariest panel in the whole book. He has Jenny Vaughn in a chair, strapped in, and her eyes pulled open, like Clockwork Orange style. And he's brainwashing her. He's feeding her images of Superman. We get this this cool homage to Action Comics #1. And we also get up here the words that are playing over these images. That's a reference to the Adventures of Superman, the 1950s show with George Reeves. So that's a cool nod. We see the Daily Planet. Back at the Daily Planet, on Clark's desk, there's a letter that Clark has written for his parents. He mentions Shelby the dog. He also asks about LL. You know, that's Lana Lang. And Lois is eavesdropping. She's snooping on through Clark's stuff on his desk, and Clark walks up. And he asks her, he's like, what are you doing? Why are you snooping through my stuff? And Lois says, well, I saw the initials LL. And she thinks that he's writing about her. And he says, Lana Lang. And she's like, well, that's a mistake anyone could make. How many people do you know with the initials LL? Which is ironic because Lex Luthor, Lana Lang, Lois Lane, there's a lot of L's in the Superman mythos. Even Kal-El, you know, Jor-El, his last name on Krypton is the letter L. So that's just a bit of a self-referential joke, I guess. You know, Lois starts to flirt with Clark a little bit before passing out. You turn the page and see that everyone in the Daily Planet has passed out. You see even Jimmy, Perry back there in the background. So everyone except for Superman, of course, is collapsing. And Lex Luthor is safe in his tower. I like this shot of Clark. He runs to the elevator, opens it up, and just jumps down the elevator shaft. Turns into Superman before he hits the ground. So Superman, he's looking around the city to see how many people are affected by this. And he realizes that all of Metropolis is basically falling asleep at the same time. Even the engineer controlling the train. So he swoops down to stop the train. And this is an image that kind of echoes the same pose as when he stopped the missile earlier in issue 2. That's something that happens a lot in this book. You'll see later on. We get just images repeating of the same theme or the same poses that have gone on in earlier chapters. So Superman goes to Star Lab to see what's up. The scientist there, she's been in this controlled room this whole time, so she hasn't breathed the air. And she tells him that it's a toxin in the air that's been released, and that's what's making everyone fall asleep. He asked her if there's anything that she can do. She said that his best bet would be to find someone with the best people in biochemistry. Have you spoken with Luthor? So he has to go to Lex Luthor for help. Little does he know that Lex is actually the one responsible for this. So he goes to Lex Luthor. He basically has to beg for Lex's help. Lex is still in his tower. And he explains that it's a controlled environment, so the air he's getting has been filtered and it isn't coming from outside. He introduces this new character named Toxin. I think she was invented for this book. I don't remember ever seeing her anywhere else, but it's Jenny Vaughn from the last issue. She's been brainwashed, and now she thinks that she's a superhero like Superman, and she's been convinced that she's going to be the one to help Superman save these people from this airborne plague. So he explains that because Jenny is an expert in biochemistry, that she's created this antidote to this, poison that's been released in the air, and that all Superman has to do is carry her up into the clouds, where she can release this vapor, and it will cure everyone. So Superman agrees. He takes her up into the clouds, where she releases this antidote. And we see people start waking up. It causes this storm, because she's releasing this vapor into the clouds. But by the time they land, I guess she's breathed in too much of the poison, so Toxin begins to die. She was only around for a couple pages. She did not last very long. Lex Luthor takes this opportunity to mock Superman and to say, well, you did a good job, but you couldn't save everyone. And then he tells him maybe he's responsible for it. Lex Luthor he's suspicious that Superman might be an alien. And he suggests that maybe he's the one that brought this virus from off-world. And he tells him, go back wherever you came from before you fail all of us. And that's what Superman does. He goes back home to Smallville, Kansas. See Shelby, see the Kents. And he's back on the farm. And he's through with being Superman for a while. but we know he'll be back for the last part. Part 4, Winter. I hope to see you there too. Thanks for watching. See you next time.